all this stuff, huh? So I am Leslie Flowers. So how many people have heard of the word mastermind before? Oh, wow. So it was actually Napoleon Hill who made it popular in this century. How many people have heard of Think and Grow Rich? Okay, how many people have read it? How many people have read it twice? How many people have read it 3 times? And of those people, how many of you are millionaires? On the way up. So is there a difference between reading and studying, would you suspect? Okay. What is a mastermind? Anybody? Raise your hand. Yes, Mark.
A group of people who get together with the idea of putting ideas out on the table, just working with each other's interests and goals.
Correct. Who else? What is a mastermind? There are no wrong answers. So let's hear what you know. Nobody knows what a master. Yes, BJ.
I would say a mastermind for me is somebody that's always on the very innovative, always coming up with something outside the box, not inside the box. A mastermind to me is someone that, when you're with a group of people, a selected group of people, it's all about helping them and helping them explore and take apart their thoughts and their growth. So
Excellent.
mastermind is about their own growth, but also upholding other people's growth as well.
Excellent. Anybody else? What is a mastermind?
A great mastermind in this room is Leslie.
Oh,
Because she is called others.
thank you. Thank you. So I want to tell you about why I'm asking you these questions. Because look, this book was written in 1937. And it's all written by a man. And yet, for those who have read it, there's a very few women in this book at all. Right, almost nondescript. So you see how we've come a long way in the last 100 years. And it's very flowery language. Lots of purple prose, because they didn't have all the media, right? The best part about this book, the only mistake, and I'll tell you this now because it's really fun. Let me see if we have anybody in this room that... Oh, I don't see anybody. Okay, so there's one place in here where Napoleon Hill gives his age away. He has discovered why men bald. Anybody have an idea why men bald? Why he thought, and the thinking at the time, now think about this, 1937, even if you weren't alive then, you know about that era. Who was alive in 1937? Uh-huh. Okay. Because they wear their hats too tight. So that was a dead giveaway here, right? So, so I want to just tell you a little bit about me, because when I got involved with Napoleon Hill's work, I already had 15 years in personal development and transformation. And so let me just tell you a little bit about me. I've always lived the good life. No matter whatever happened, it always worked out. If I didn't have money, it came. If I really wanted something, and think about your own life. Whatever it was you want as a little child, when you really want something, you jump up and down, your parents, etc., and somehow you get that thing. If we were all 3-year-old toddlers, we would all be millionaires, because a toddler goes exactly for what they want, right up on the cookie at dinner time, right? And they'll climb up on the counter, and if you get up there, you're not going to have dessert, you better get down there, and they go up for the cookie anyway, and they risk it all for the cookie. They're very focused, very clear, they have a definite purpose and a desire, and they're willing to get a spanking because they want it so bad. That's what the 3% of people who are wealthy, happy, and healthy, only 3 out of 100, they know exactly what they want, and they're deeply and desperately in love with it. They've fallen in love. Remember when you were in love and you could tell when the girl was coming down the hall, right? Your back was to the door and all the little hairs got up on your arm, right? Because she was coming in the door, but you didn't even see her. The vibration, right? I used to see my boyfriend's face in the mashed potatoes. That's the kind of love rich and successful people have. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, one of the first masterminds. So a mastermind is when two or more people get together to focus on the same issue. And when you do this, have you noticed that you get lots of ideas when you're really masterminding? So the first thing to do is to realize that you do it all the time anyway. The power for you in using the mastermind comes when you're aware of the benefits and what you can get. So you already knew about it, you already do it. But there's no power in a habit. So the work that I do is I teach these principles, and I started, let's see, I guess it was about 2008 I began my first mastermind. They said, Leslie, we want you to do a mastermind on Think and Grow Rich. What's Think and Grow Rich? Women don't know about this book. Not really. Well, it's Napoleon Hill's book, What's a Mastermind? We'll send you the materials, just start. So I had 10 people every week for 8 weeks, and I was 1 week ahead of them, one chapter ahead, and I was listening to the unabridged CD in the car, and they didn't know. So it was a number of years when I finally realized, why was I teaching this over the years? Why did I love this guy stuff? So me, I have a blessed life. And when I was a young girl, I'm part of the baby boomer generation, even though I don't look it, I know. When I was a young girl, this was the song that I believed in for getting married and having a family. Someday he'll come along, who remembers? The man I love, and he'll be big and strong. The man I love, and when he walks my way, I'll do my best to make him stay. So I found the guy. That's what I believed. I love that song. How many people remember that song? Oh, you don't. Well, maybe you're the man I love. I don't know, Michael. So I married and lived a glorious life. Money came whenever we needed it. We robbed Peter to pay Paul, but who cared? Both of us were lousy at money. We shifted it around. Life was good. We had 2 cats in the yard. Life used to be so hard, but everything was easy because of him. 30 years in, kids are on their way, and one day, everything disappeared. Husband, doesn't matter how, $750,000 in the 401k. I walked away from a 30-year marriage at almost 60 years old with $4,000 in my pocket. Pretty dismal, don't you think? So now, what? So now it was, you made me leave my happy home. You took my love and now you're gone since I fell for you. So there I was. I sat in the dark for 2 years. Miserable. I had pity parties. It doesn't matter what happened. Life was getting good. I went and took some transformational technology. I got tired of licking my wounds. Anybody been there when you're just sick to death of it? And let's get it over with already. I've had it. And one day I came home from work. The sun was shining. And I went to the mailbox to get my mail. Life was starting to look good, you know. I was working. I made about $37,000 a year. It was enough. It was enough. I got by. And there was a letter from the IRS. So I opened it up. Dear Mrs. Flowers, You owe us $80,000, and here's your payment book for $5,000 a month. Well, I was only making about $2,500 a month. So I'm in a panic. There's 3 ways. I'm thinking, okay, there's 3 things I can do. 1, I can just sell everything and go live on the street downtown Raleigh and trudge with all the homeless. Okay, I have a relative who went through that program, and while it's cold in the winter, there are plenty of cigarettes, and everybody carries their suitcase with them. So that was one option, but not this woman, who actually is related to Leon Trotsky, if you know who that is. So you can call me Empress anytime you want, because I would be in charge had Stalin not won. Anyhow, the second choice was to go to jail, because there was no way I was going to spend $5,000 a month. I didn't have it unless I did illegal things. And they're supposed to pay me, not me pay them, right? Okay. Then the third one is driving off a bridge. I will tell you true, those were my 3 choices. They did not look good to me, but it's always worked out. I've always had faith. And one morning I woke up and I got an idea, which I found out years later was one of the 13 principles of success. Anybody know what I did? So it's not jail, it's not being homeless, and it's not suicide. So what do you think it was? A little louder? Reinvented myself. What did I do? What one thing is left? You would know. What is left? Yes, I had $500 in an Edward Jones account. I mean, $500. So I went and saw my guy. He said, Leslie, you need an attorney who's a CPA. Who knew there was such a thing? And then what happened was, it all went very quickly. It took 1.5 years and $5,000 to get them to remove $50,000 off the 80. So my attorney calls me in and he says, Leslie, boy, this is really great. That leaves 30, 15 for you and 15 for your husband. And I got quiet. How many people know me as quiet? He said, do you want to appeal? Yes, I do. This was not my debt. So 6 months later and $1,600 more, the entire amount was removed. Let me tell you, when the IRS is after you, it really takes some chutzpah to go up against them, but it wasn't my debt. Okay, so life goes good, $6,800, it's really great. Life is good again, right? And then one day I come home from work and I go to the mailbox, and what do I have? From the state of North Carolina Department of Revenue. Dear Mrs. Flowers, you owe us $20,000, and here's your payment book. Well, I called them. And thank God, when they heard what the IRS did, they waived it all. 3 years later, when I was over 60, I bought my first home on my own in '09. I got it for $100,000 less, and it was my dream home that I've been visualizing for 5 years on a lake. If I can do this, so can you, but how? And how does mastermind work? So first of all, what I want you to know about Napoleon Hill, he was the reporter. He was not an expert in success. He spent 20 years interviewing repeatedly 500 of our country's most successful people to determine what they're doing that everybody else isn't doing. That came up with the 13 principles of success. They are not new. They are synthesized. This is the only place that you can take timeless, universal principles, and they're all in one place and applicable. In fact, this book is a master goal setting and achievement. Okay, so mastermind. What are the benefits of the mastermind? You don't have to do everything yourself. You don't have to go out and learn everything. In fact, now I do masterminds for women only in business, but I do corporate work. And right now, I got to get my cards to tell you what I am. So my mastermind students from '09, let me just tell you what they've done. They sat, I got the wrong one. Okay, I'm missing a card. It's okay. So my '09 mastermind, the following year created People Builders LLC, which is a nonprofit. They built 5 homes for disabled or severely marred veterans. They won the Presidential Award for gathering the most food, and I have to remember my title. They've just started a new tech company that expects to be Amazon or SAP equivalent, and the entire corporate culture is built on the principles of success with Mastermind as the hub. The principles are then fed from the mastermind, and then high performance and lean principle workplace. Okay, so in corporate, mastermind can be the center of what grows your business. Now, here are some things that mastermind does for you. Hold on, let's see. Hold on. Okay, so it reduces your learning curve. It improves your skills. It saves you time and money. In my ladies' masterminds, I have a business incubator. So if you're in the mastermind, you want to start a new business, or you want to start a new workshop rather than going out and spending time and money and testing, you do it with these people. Now, the people that are in a mastermind, for it to be effective, have to agree on a certain behavior, a level of integrity, keeping your word. How many people have, in this group, this week, have had somebody say they do something and they didn't do it? Really, everybody that you worked with this week kept their word? No. Okay. So the biggest problem with the 97% is they don't do what they say they'll do by when they'll do it. That's a lack of integrity, right? But we figure, well, everybody else is doing, well, everybody else is late, so I'll be late. In a mastermind, that does not feed your business at all. The purpose of a mastermind is for the success and greatness of everyone in the mastermind. So here's a really great mastermind that it had one person that didn't follow the agreements. So if you think back to 330 BC, Jesus Christ had a mastermind. And what happened in his mastermind when one of the people did not do what they said they would do? You know what happened. Alexander the Great had a mastermind. All the great armies, they all did it with a group of advisors. Now, men do this sort of. They have their men's group and their women's group. The men's group, they drink beer and pat each other on the butt. And in the JCs and all that, they do bounce some ideas off. So men do have a distinct area for playing. They play in business and they play in social, but hello, women. We've only been in business 30 years. And the reason that women don't make money that they should and have no predictable income is because the social part and the business part are collapsed together. So I could be sharing with you my heart, and you could say, Leslie, you really look fat today. So then my feelings get hurt. You see how she's collapsed? The men in the social situation would say, hey, bud, it looks like you're putting on a paunch, right? But when women get together, they're mean and nasty to each other. It's only because they don't know how to distinguish it. That's all. And the men who are doing this, there's no power in it because it's a habit. And until you distinguish it, you can't leverage power. So knowledge is not power. How many people have heard knowledge is power all your life? You got to use it or it's useless. Oops, excuse me for spitting. Okay. So the mastermind allows you to achieve in record time, and it lifts you up. When you're by yourself and you're working on something, you feel insecure sometimes. Things don't work out. How many times have you had an idea you started on and just gave it up? Anybody? How many people have had an idea, gave it up, and then someone else took the idea and brought it to fruition? Hello, do you want to share? Mm-hmm. Selling rocks? Oh, okay, good. And somebody else came up with the idea, didn't they? So here's what you want to know. In my work, what you'll learn is that ideas are energy and they're spiritual seeds. They're already here. The ability to fly was already here. It just took someone to figure it out. And someone did. So all ideas are here. So where are they? They flow from form, through form, us, back into form manifestation, unless we get the idea and we're discouraged and we let it go and then it pops into someone else's mind and they take it and run with it. If you have a mastermind of people that you trust and that are looking for your success and your greatness, you will achieve it. When you stumble, you know that failure is how you learn. For women, it's a little harder because we have a lack of confidence in business. And why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? We've only been doing business for 30 years. You guys have been doing it for 200 generations, 5,000 years. Okay, so let me see what else I want to tell you. Mastermind. The commitment is to live your life based on this structure of principles, values and virtues. Do you know that people have lived by virtues since the beginning of time? Does anybody know why? Why do people live by virtues? Why did they create virtues and live by them? Anybody have an idea? It's real simple. Can't hear you. To coexist. It feels good. Our job is to be in harmony with the universe, and it is to feel good. But notice how we feel bad all the time, right? We're focusing on the negative. Well, the truth is only human beings can take an idea and bring it into form. If there were no human beings, this building wouldn't be here. You'd have animals, blue, green, and dirt. That's it. Only a human being can take an idea, hold it consistently and repeatedly over time, visualize it and create an image, add form, color, fragrance, if you will. One of my dreams is to have a beach house with scantily clad pool boys running through. That's my image. You don't have to like that one. That's mine. But it's very exciting. And when you do that, you start to fall in love with it, because the purpose of setting any kind of goal is to motivate you into action. So if it's something you need, you're not going to be motivated, okay? So that's the purpose of a goal. So I want to tell you about these principles really quickly. And I've got these books at the back, and if you choose to buy one of these books, which you can't get in the store, you can order it online, of course. There are certain chapters you want to read first. Do not read them all together. There's too much information. That's why you've read it and read it and read it, and you still aren't doing it. So the first thing, and you heard Earl allude to this, you've got to decide what you want. Oh, I can tell you what I don't want. I don't want this kind of a guy. I don't want this kind of a job. I don't want a job that pays this. I don't. You have to flip that using one of the universal laws of polarity, which says, in every case, when there's an up, there's a down. When there are no jobs, by law, there are jobs. You get to pick whether you're going to look at the jobs that are there or the lack of jobs. So in every case, There's an up and a down and in and out. So using the law of polarity, you can choose what it is that you want. You've got to have a definite purpose. It also means intention, goal, something you want very much. Those words are all your purpose, your mission, your vision. All those things pretty much mean the same thing. It's about getting you to determine what you want. You know, most of us don't think. 3% of people actually think. 2% think they think. And 95% of people would rather die than think. So we're working to get into the 2 or 3%. Now, our gift as human beings is conscious awareness. We have the ability to choose. We don't always do it, and we get a lot of information, so it's not easy to do. But we can choose. And most of us are choosing negative. Well, with a little practice, you can turn it to positive. So the first thing is to create your definite purpose, and then you better fall in love with it. So make it something you want real bad. Real bad. Something that you'll think about every day, right? All the time. You'll go to bed thinking about it. You'll wake up. Do you think that Steve Jobs only thought about Apple now and then? Or Martin Luther King? Or how about Mahatma Gandhi's mastermind of 200,000? Look at what he did. That was a mastermind. Okay, so then you fall in love with it. The hardest thing is your definite purpose. Believe it or not, people just do not know what they want. They've never thought about it. Once you figure out what you want, and then you fall in love with it, there is more information. As human beings, learning is the miracle grow for human beings. When you finish high school or college, your learning just begins. It just starts then. So I can use this. So the next thing is, to develop faith. How many times have you heard that? Well, if you just had faith, Jane, these things would work out. Right, Michael? Well, you just don't have faith. Carol, I'm sorry, I'm disappointed in you. Why don't you have faith? Well, what is faith? Anybody? What is faith? It's a belief beyond. You know that you know that you know it, and nobody can argue with you about it, right? They say don't discuss or argue about religion, politics, or the great pumpkin. That you don't want to talk about those things. People are very sure. That's faith. Well, how do you build faith in that desire that you've just created? Okay, it takes consistent, repeated intervals of reviewing the information over time. You have your beliefs that took 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. Do you really think that overnight you can create faith in yourself, in what you're doing? You don't know how. With a mastermind, you don't have to know how. You only have to know why, because your mastermind partners are listening for your greatness. And just like when the 2 of you or 3 of you are sharing ideas and ideas start popping and, let's do this, and that is masterminding. What's happening is when you're feeling really great and you're in love, you are actually in the highest vibration. And that is when intuition and imagination flood your conscious mind with the answers. But if your mind is filled with, there are no jobs and I'm not the one and so forth, it washes right through you and goes to someone else. So the way you create a habit of faith is through reviewing the material in consistent spaced intervals over time. Now, I do this by webinar every week. And then every quarter I have a full day intensive, a mastermind intensive where we get together. Okay, and there are extra trainings. So we also have, how am I doing on time? I'm doing okay, Diana? Okay, I'm looking at him, looking at his clock. You're looking at 5 minutes. Oh my God, 5 minutes? Okay. She's the boss. So where was I? Who knows where I was? Thank you. See, now here's what's so interesting. I learned a long time ago. It's okay if I forget where I am. Someone's on the same thought frequency. I learned that a long time ago. I get my notes. No, all I have to do is ask. There was the person. Somebody's right on that same thought frequency with me. And so I count on that. Okay, so that's how I do my masterminds. I also can go into business and conduct them every week. The key to this material is reviewing it and having it top of mind in consistent, spaced intervals over time. That is the only way to create belief in your idea. And when you have a mastermind of people that are committed to your greatness and their own, they're only looking for the things that you might add that would make them greater. Things that are missing, the presence of which would make a big difference. And Mark and I did some transformational technology a long time ago. Okay, so then what happens is you begin to use your imagination when you're really thrilled and excited. Everybody in the mastermind is doing this, right? And so what happens is you start getting the answers. And you go, oh, or you see someone show up in your space and, well, this is a coincidence. Oh no, because whatever it is, positive or negative, it works all the time. Whatever idea you hold consistently and repeatedly over time, you believe. And guess what? You will get exactly what you believe. So if you don't have the bank account you want, the car you want, the relationship you want, the house you want, and by the way, you are supposed to take care of yourself first. You're allowed to live abundantly, but then the big thing, the big ticket is giving back, leaving a legacy, using that money to make a difference in the world with your message. Okay, so so then the next thing is decision. So these are the principles. So what I want you to know about this is, if you know your definite purpose, and one of the bright shiny objects or squirrel come and distract you, if you know your purpose, you get to ask one question. Write this down. If I do this, will it take me directly to what I want or away? But can you see, if you have no definite purpose, you can't ask the question. How many, just like what Tim did, Tim did fire, aim ready. How many people are like that? Oh, I'm already in action, but I have no idea where I'm going, right? How many people are like that? Oh my God, what a waste of time. So the idea of mastermind is, it's a rare group of people. There are very few people out there at this level. You're part of the 3% thinkers. You're constantly expanding your awareness of your own infinite potential. You actually get to a point where you come face to face with yourself as your infinite potential, and anything can work for you. So for decision, successful people make quick decisions and are very slow to change them, if at all. How do they do that? Because they know what they want. So you can't ask that question until you know what you want. Persistence. Persistence, again, is doing what you know to do when no one's looking in spaced, consistent intervals over time. And by the way, when this all works for you, it isn't like the light bulb goes off and there's star fires and there's, fireworks and champagne pouring and everything. No. You know what it's like? It's like when your kitty or your doggy just comes up behind and rubs against your ankle. All of a sudden, you start to see that things are working and life is good. You're happy. If you look back, you're supposed to be happy. So we have lots of fun when we do masterminds, right? And I'm doing this specifically with women because they know so little about this. But I've also taught men this too, because I want women to step into their greatness. And I want them to be able to predict their income. And that's what a mastermind will do. It's the fastest path for you to achieve what you want. And nothing hurries, because spiritual seeds, which are ideas, take time, and you don't get to say by when they're going to manifest. So what is it that's going to keep you persistent, that's going to keep you disciplined? It's a group of like-minded people that are looking for you to be a huge success. Mastermind will give you what you want faster than you're doing it on your own. So why not have a mastermind? Now, does anybody have any questions? Yes, please, go ahead. Pardon? Okay, so, let me hold that question. Who else has a question? Does anybody else have a question? Yes, Mark Cram.
The 3 chapters you said we should read first.
Oh, no, there's not 3. I'll tell you which ones. If you buy a book, you get one of these. Okay, so you want to read the introduction and the preface, desire, faith, autosuggestion, that's self-suggestion. It used to be known as brainwashing. When you use it positively without violating the rights of others, it's one of our gifts. And then specialized knowledge is one, and that's what I did when I went and found the CPA, who was a tax attorney. And by the way I won was innocent spouse law, and I didn't even know it existed. Just so you know that there's actually a law out there. Okay. And then imagination. Listen, in about 6th grade or 6 years old, we stopped using imagination. Leslie, stop daydreaming and pay attention to the lesson. But imagination and intuition are how the universe gives us our answers. When you go to bed at night, your mind is still, and you very often wake up in the morning with the answer that you want. Why? Because you only hold one thought in your conscious mind at a time. And when you sleep, it's quiet for a while. That's the only time. Okay, then you've got, of course, the power of mastermind, the mystery of sex transmutation. I'll share that personally. And the subconscious mind is where all your beliefs live. The brain is an electronic switching station, and the 6th sense refers to intuition. So the ones you want to read are the introduction, desire, faith, autosuggestion, imagination, decision, and persistence, and the power of mastermind. Just read those. Then I'll tell you when. It's too much to absorb. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank you for being here, and I don't have one of my sheets, so if you guys will just 1 second, why don't you walk to the out? Oh, yeah, thanks. Okay, so because I knew I was coming today, but wait, before you pass them out, wait, just 1 second, let me just say what I need to say. Otherwise, they'll be, okay. So when I knew I was coming today, I actually created offerings just for you today. So one of them is, okay, now you can start passing. Thank you. So one of them is I have a free report on Mastermind is the cornerstone of achievement. If you'd like that, when you get the paper, put in your name and your email, print. By the way, in the 17 ways, my chapter is number 3. It's the only one with footnotes. Okay. The second opportunity is to buy this. And this book, this is a really cool little book. Yeah, make sure, you got someone on this side. Lisa, this gentleman didn't get one here. Okay, so this book is 17 stories from my students after doing one 8-week mastermind, and they were not all in the same mastermind. This is their take. So like if you're an average person saying, well, what am I gonna get out of this? These are just 17 average folks, and the way I designed it is that after you read a story, and it doesn't have to be linearly, you pick whichever one you want, you have a place to write your insights. Great for the plane and so forth. So this is your everyday person's take on what it's like to do a mastermind with me and this material. So the second choice is this. These two together are $25, and I have a bigger bundle. One of my trainings is in goal setting and achievement, and this includes 3 presentations, live and PowerPoint, that will demystify achievement in a way you've never done. So these 3 together, there are only 6, are $45. And the last thing that I've especially created for you, and you have no idea how much trouble I went through to do this, not that it matters, is that next Wednesday morning from 9 to 11:30, I have a good friend who is a master at selling to generations. If you know what generation your ideal client is in, Tim Moore will tell you exactly how to sell to them. He travels around the country selling across the generations. And then I will dispel all your myths and get you started on being able to turn what it is you want into your dream and using the proper accurate knowledge. So you have 4 opportunities. 1, the free report. Everyone, please fill it out. Raise your hand when you're done. The books and so forth are back there. If you want 2 books, Think and Grow Rich and a copy of Kettle Dreams, it's $25. The big bundle includes this training video And then I'd love to have you, the workshop is only $37, and you get a 30-minute consultation with me about mastermind, anything you want. So, are there any more questions? Are you motivated? Are you excited? Do you see possibility for yourself? So let me just tell you what I want to tell you about you, who you are. See, I'm the mirror of your greatness, and you're the mirror of mine. If you see me as great, that means you see yourself as great. You've given me this opportunity, so what I want to say to you is this. Did I ever tell you you're my heroes? You're everything I would like to be. And I get to fly higher than an eagle, 'cause you are the wind beneath my wings. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.